when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Welcome back to the morning show on Tobago Updates Television. I am Adanna Combie, and I'll be interviewing our first guest in studio this morning. I'll be speaking to Vennorick Cupid, and he is the founder of Movement Professionals Dance Company. We Must Dance School Tour. We're talking about the updates on the first edition, and also we're talking about the edition 2 loading. Good morning and welcome to our program this morning.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me this morning.
And thank you for being here. And of course, some of our viewers who are not familiar with this school tour, we want to talk a little bit about it, but we want to know first of all, what is this school? What is this We Must Dance? Why this team? Why this topic? Why this name? What was the genesis behind it and the idea for giving it this name?
From the inception of my dance company, which is Emperors, we have always had this slogan, this mantra, we must dance, which means no matter where, no matter when, no matter what, once music playing, we start dancing. And that has been something that has been motivating us throughout the years. So when we would have decided to do a school tour, right, we was thinking, what is something short and sweet that we could use that could tell the kids what we're coming there to do and to inspire them at the same time? And 3 words says it: we must dance.
You know, it's like when they say you mustn't waste good food.
Yeah.
So don't waste good music, so let's dance, you know. So I like the idea, and of course the movement with it also provides this kind of physical movement.
Yes.
And also it kind of works on your mind as well. It relaxes your mind and brings you, you're looking as if I really get into the mind and the heart and the pulse of your idea.
Of course. It's a passion, and it is one of the most rewarding things that we as Tobagonians and as dancers on the island have ever done. And this is coming from individuals that would have gone to world championships and perform in front of thousands of people. But working with the young people, working with the next generation and the students, it was so rich and fulfilling because they truly appreciated everything that we would have brought to them during the tour.
So what when you say what you brought to them to the tour, what did you bring to them? Because I want to experience it from this side of the conversation.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so how I like to consider it, I like to think of it as we would have given each viewing student and even teachers a mini vacation during the couple minutes that we were at each school. So what we would have done, we would have compiled a team which would have comprised of my dance company, some cultural practitioners like Mr. Dion Briggs, I like to call him Professor Dion Briggs, and Mr. Darrell Silvert Gregg, some of the cultural drummers, and we would have we started off at Compre, went to Mason Hall, and finished at Speyside. While we were there, we would have performed, showing the young people that, okay, this is us dancing. We would have engaged them, meaning that we would have had little activities for them, brought up a lot of the young men on stage. And let me just say, the young men and the young women, but especially young men, they were extremely willing. We had students rushing to come up on stage just to participate. And when they participated, participation along the lines of we would have given them certain dance moves, some trendy and some folk, and allowed them to do it and put their spin on it. And they were rewarded with little tokens that was put together by the whole team.
Right, and I was just about to ask, what genre of dancing, like what type of music do you dance to, and what style of dancing do you engage them in?
We engage them in hip-hop, we engage them in Afrobeats, and we engage them in folk. And we also give them some stick fighting too, just to give them something a little bit, out of the ordinary. And they ate up everything. It was to the point that...
This is you here?
Yeah. Oh, that is me, like, giving them, they teach me how to dougie, like, little thing a little bit. Yeah. And they were so willing to the point that it had us thinking that, hey, we should have brought more tokens, because
Right.
the students and them were literally running up on stage. We said we need 1, and they're getting 7 and 8 and 9 running up.
So this is a plug here for sponsorship, for corporate sponsorship to come.
I do hope that we get more sponsorship. I'm glad to say that this time around we did get some sponsorship, and I'm not going to be one of those individuals that said that I did everything by myself. One of our gold sponsors was definitely Foggy Angels, Tobago Carnival. We would have worked with them in the past, and from the time I reached out to Telecruise and Kerry was like, hey, we're going to put this towards you guys. You guys have been doing great work. Our platinum sponsorship, however, would have come from the Division of Tourism, especially Secretary Boris and Dr. Thomas. And let me just take a second to just mention this really quick. A lot of individuals would have come to me and say, well, yo, I love the work you're doing on the island and we want to help. Secretary Boris was the only person that I know that said, hey, if I have to dip into my pocket to make sure that you get money to cover the expenses, and she did. That is how we were able to execute everything, to get transportation, to get the drummers, to get the media unit. It was a lot of support from Dr. Thomas and Secretary Boris, and I must thank them. And even some of the silver sponsorship, which is individuals that just gave what they had. I had individuals such as Savor the Delights, and even some friends of mine like Faraba. Everybody dipped in to say, well, hey, you guys go in front of the kids. Let me put this towards it. Let me put a 500 or 300. Let me buy a case of snacks to put towards the bag. And it was extremely appreciated.
And that is something that I want to commend all the sponsors who came on board to make sure that this event was a success. Our young people, they just want to know that somebody cares, that somebody's investing in them. So kudos to you and kudos to those of you who came on board to make sure that this event came off well and that the young people, the children, felt that measure of somebody cares, somebody's taking the time to be here. And what are some of the things that you're hoping to achieve from continuing these tours?
Well, funny enough, I kind of got bad up a little bit, and it's one of those Tobago things. So one of the schools and them that wasn't involved in the tour, I spoke to one of the teachers, one of the dance teachers and them recently, which is Goodwood, and she said that she felt a bit left out, Goodwood. she felt a Goodwood. And she said, you know what, why didn't you all come to Goodwood? Goodwood will love this initiative. And that is the sort of feedback we have been getting from other schools, which we are very thankful for. And I would have told her, since it was the first time we're doing it, we didn't want to take on a large tour without knowing what the kinks are, right? So they were definitely expressed interest in phase 2, and phase 2 is scheduled for next month, which is in exactly about 4 weeks, about the middle of next month, and that is where we'll be going into production mode. And the thing about this, right, I like coming and speaking in this kind of way because it actually allows me to keep my word and rise to the challenge.
Because we have it on record.
Of course. And anybody knows me, they know once I say something, I will do it, whether it's day or night. And the goal for next month, which is phase 2, we are going to be making a Tobago production, which means that we're going to be having some of the students and them from each of the schools be a part of a little video dancing with us, and that video will comprise of some trendy, but especially the folk part, which is something authentic to Tobago. And I'm talking about, I would like to have them in dress code, looking the part, so anybody from beyond Trinidad and Tobago who looks at it, they could be able to identify this is Tobago.
Unique to Tobago, that's right.
Exactly. And I think that the students themselves will feel extremely proud to see themselves and see some of their fellow students getting this sort of shine up, getting this sort of publicity, or getting to see themselves in something bigger than themselves. And that is what I would like for each of the students and them that are interested.
Awesome. And how does somebody become a part of your group or your foundation? How do we, members of the public, or maybe students might want to join? How do they join?
Well, the good thing about that, we are very, very social media friendly. You could just reach out to us. And a lot of the students would have come up to us directly after and would have asked for pictures or even that same information, how to be a part. And we would have told them that you could also join Chancellor Dance, which is the little brother to our program, which is Mr. John Chapman. He is the CEO of that, and they will train them from, even if they're not accustomed dancing, up to performance level. Right. So if it is that you're definitely interested in dancing, even if you think you have 2 left feet like I do, you could definitely.
I didn't see 2 left feet there with that. Teach me how to ducky.
But what I'm saying is, I believe dance is for everybody, and I know that part of what I was going wrong, bringing awareness to yesterday, was the lack of the young men involved, and I could sit here probably today and say that the talk where the young men are interested, all that is a bunch of baloney, because we have young men on the island that are willing. We had a lot of young men that was interested on stage, and I'd like to shout out 3 young men, 1 from each school. In Compre, there was a young man named, his nickname was Prezi, right? Prezi. And his swagger alone had the crowd going crazy. In Mason Hall, there was a young man named Billy. He is my favorite student dancer from that tour. He blew me away at every chance he got. And in Speyside, there was a young man named Sheldon. And he was just so willing, so eager, even though he wasn't too familiar. You could see that the interest was pushing him forward. And what we need to do as young men, as people, as Tobagonians, we need to encourage young people to do and to engage in positive outlets. Because the violence and the crime and everything is having a hold on them too much, and they like dancing, they will like singing, they will like sports. We shouldn't allow outside negativity to penetrate our young people.
That's right.
So I'm really, really happy that the students and them gravitated to what we brought to them, and it goes back to what I said. People saying that it's not possible. I believe that it is the how you do it, and sometimes it is the who does it that will determine somebody's interest in a project.
And I'm really excited and interested to see where this goes, because you're talking about, I mean, you've identified 3 young men, but you've also spoke so much about the fact that the young men were the ones that were coming forward and being very interested and really wanting to, because, you know, men, they want to show themselves. And that is, I love that. I love the fact that they took the opportunity to say, okay, I've got this talent, or I've got this interest, I'm interested in this, I don't know about it, but I want to try at least. And I want to see some measure of mentorship for these young men. I want to see some measure of more activities like this going into the schools, and even when the tours go into the schools, when we see them having the interest, capture them and place them somewhere and say, listen, I'm going to mentor you, I'm going to groom you, I'm going to bring you up. So we need more partners to come on board. When we have these types of activities. We don't just want to go into the schools, do the thing, leave them there, and then move on to the next school. And what happens? And as you rightfully said, it penetrates that that measure of crime, so that they have interest in something else and they're not interested in the crime.
Correct. And also, allow me to say that sometimes, and this is for anybody who's thinking about engaging young people or getting young men interested, sometimes the way to communicate is not the traditional way. What we realize is that going in front of students and talking for 20 minutes, young people, even myself, sometimes have a very short attention span. So that is why we took our model. We would have gone and given them a sort of music and something that they would have liked, a very clean, but something that they could identify with, and then use that to introduce the folk. Right? So the whole We Must Dancer was more to really target the men, but we cannot really leave out the young ladies. We cannot have done that. And that is the way that we will continue doing things going forward, because our target audience was the students. We have to go to them in a way that they could understand, that they could decipher what we're trying to tell them. And they would have felt, and I'm just telling you this based on the feedback we got from the student, they would have felt seeing men dancing, seeing that all-male cast dancing and putting on a show. They didn't know they needed that kind of representation until they saw it on that day. Because before we started dancing, they were very timid. When they saw us dancing, and then they were saying that, how the rest of students reacting, they engage, they love it. It inspired something in them. It triggered a flame in them that said, hey, I would like to express myself that way too. And that was the whole reason behind it all, to get them to express themselves in a different way.
Vennorick, I want to wish you the very best. This is something I want to buy into. This is something I want to see how the investment in this goes, and the outcomes, and how far we can go with this. I'm seeing so many different things where this is concerned. So I want to wish you and your team the very, very best as you continue, as you head on to production mode, and who knows where next you will go. And, all the best. Congratulations to you.
Thank you.
And, corporate Tobago, let us get on board. Let us join hands. We can't do it alone. No man is an island. We all need each other. And so this group is doing their thing, and so we're calling on you to join as we, impact the lives of our young people here on Tobago for positive change, positive impact, and positive outcomes. Congratulations and all the best. Ladies and gentlemen, we've been speaking with Vennorick Cupid, and he is the founder of Movement Professionals Dance Company, Empros, talking about going into the schools and talking to our young people and showing them that, hey, you can shake a little, you can shake a leg and enjoy yourself and do something that is safe and keeps you out of trouble. We are going to go for a short break before we continue conversations in studio with our guest. And of course, before we go, we're going to invite you to share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back.